need to get out. The voices are calling me. My old music box. It's broken. I have to fix my old music box. I have to get it. I have to...
The following is my review of Call of the Sea. If there are any other games you would like me to review, leave a comment down below. I just finished playing Call of the Sea and I enjoyed it. This is a first-person story puzzle game developed by Out of the Blue. I say story puzzle game because the focus of this game is to take you on a journey of the main character, Nora. She travels to a jaw-dropping Polynesian island and discovers clues about her illness and her missing husband, Harry. It's a story game primarily because those elements are more abundant in the game. We are traversing through ancient history with a 1930s perspective, which produces a lot of lore and interesting pieces of narrative in-game. This perspective is then invigorated by themes of sanity, identity, and more importantly how love can drive even the most terrified person through a metaphysical minefield just to ensure that your significant other can be happy. In a traditional first-person puzzler, the game often loads you with the mechanics and the puzzles and peppers you with the story throughout. This game does the opposite. The mechanics are essentially move, point, and click, but with different permutations depending on the puzzles. The basic mechanics are tied to the storytelling, as we pick up many notes and clues that tell us about why we are in this environment and why we are solving the puzzles. The story builds the foundation for the puzzles to lie on, and I think that's a very welcoming deviation from the standard model we get with these types of games. To be honest, at first I wasn't digging it. I didn't really even know what I was getting into because I didn't research the game at all. I assumed that it would be a heavy puzzle game that feeds off the glorious set pieces. But rather, it's the art style of those set pieces, combined with a slow-burning path of narrative discovery, combined with the puzzles which are almost extensions of the story. Because they aren't the main focus, these puzzles might seem a little easy, but don't be fooled. The beginning of this game might lead you to believe that this is simply an easy point-and-click puzzle game. This was until the sharp turn in difficulty, which taught me to respect it. The challenges themselves range from copy-pasting symbols, memorizing patterns, although not really because everything kind of stays in your notebook, and also to playing a giant-ass stone organ. The biggest problem I had was deciphering some of the in-game symbols. There are some puzzles that really require you to decode what the game is trying to tell you, but I unfortunately had a difficult time with those because I was diagnosed with acute retardation. Apart from the more abstract challenges, the puzzles that were kind of made to be followed through in a single line were very inventive. And while they didn't always present much of a challenge, they never failed to highlight how cohesive the puzzles and the narrative were. Everything in the game fit together the way a proper story should be. Nora, who had fully voiced dialogue, gave the game a traditional yet effective journal-style narration. She spoke the way a person does when they write in a journal or diary. At times that can be a little off-putting, given the fact that there are just some things humans don't say out loud, but we are also never quite certain if we are fully conscious in the game, so it's not really a huge issue. The plot itself is an entirely inventive one that benefits from the graphics and art style, which absolutely extends to its soundtrack, ranging from simple melodies to symphonies that are triggered by in-game events and scenic displays of grandeur. I only wish those moments of awe and those moments of narrative focus came closer together. One of the biggest things that gnawed at me was the pacing of the game, which was a little too slow for me. But understandably, you kind of need to digest the information at a sensible pace, so this again isn't a huge issue. My main issue is the manner in which we acquired the pertinent info regarding the story. So this is kind of another preference thing, but just bear with me because some of you won't mind this at all and that's perfectly fine. The story withholds a lot of information. It may seem like you're always stopping to uncover more and more about the story, and you are, but it's kind of an illusion because 70% of the shit you really want to know resides in one of the two endings. So you go the whole game uncovering basically a box, and then at the end of the game you finally get all the shit you want to put in that box. So I'll tell you why it bothered me a little bit. I didn't like that because I wasn't getting a lot of info, which kept me from being invested in some of the puzzles. At times I was like, okay, this part of the story is super creative and visually stunning, but why am I doing this puzzle? Give me some more information attached to that puzzle so that your story game can have a certain fluidity with them. Again, it's okay if you just don't care and you just want to experience the obstacles set before you. So they withhold quite a bit of information, and then at the end you are info dumped to hell. As in they dump everything on you and reveal the entire mystery and that's it, all in one sequence. So maybe some of you can see why that can be a bit annoying, because it's like shit, I wish there was a little more at stake to these puzzles than an info dump. That being said, the game didn't suffer for it. Rather, it's my awareness of certain narrative frameworks that was activated. That's why I went on that tangent. The story was still a warm and touching exploration into a very fraught yet passionate relationship. We are very much seeing two characters, our Nora and her husband Harry, set each other up for their own journeys. We only experience Nora's, but through her perspective we also uncover the meta-narrative which pertains to Harry. It's rather a good job when you think about the different streams of information you acquire. They were on point in that regard. I think the story was one I kind of battled with, but in the end I appreciated the message and its delivery, even if it didn't suit my taste at times. I honestly don't know what to rate this game. I am very much inclined to give it a 7.5 out of 10, only because of the gripes I had with the story framework. However, if I wasn't so inclined to care about that, I probably would have given it a 9 out of 10, given the fact that it's an emotionally enriching experience for anyone who plays it. Narrative, gaming, and artistic biases notwithstanding, this is a studio that impressed me with its devotion to storytelling and art style. They are very much a welcome surprise in the age of shooters and repetition. Every person on that team could survive in a AAA company. They have that creative gene. So I'm gonna do this. It's a 9 overall, but it's a 7 at times. I think that's pretty fair. Thanks for watching.